Welcome to Pathways to Aviation. It's the 19th activity of our 5-day career symposium. We're an organization which informs, inspires, and connects, engages aviation's next generation. And we do that so many different ways, but one way is by bringing together the aviation community, whether they're students, job seekers, mentors, industry leaders, recruiters, employers, bring them all in to a week-long, not necessarily a conference, but just we'll call it a conversation where they can connect to create opportunities. And those opportunities could be establishing a professional network. It could be seeking a scholarship or a college degree or a job. And so we've hosted a number of career panels. We had one on education today that was pretty rock solid. And we're conducting live interviews. And with us today is a certified candidate. Now, when I use the word certified, it means that Pathways to Aviation has designed a career readiness certification program. And it's open to anybody who wants to participate in it, whether they believe that they're already career ready or they're just starting their whole career process. And we guide them through a series of steps to become job interview successful. So it might include identifying your skills, articulating your skills and experiences on paper, which is commonly known as the resume, articulating those same as well as your passions in a verbal format. So when you're out networking or you're in a job interview or at a career fair, and we send these students and job seekers through a corridor or a pathway, if you will, to certification. We certify them, and by that, we're basically telling the industry, particularly recruiters and employers, that these individuals have been vetted and that we believe in our estimation that they are ready to enter the workforce. Whether it's in a volunteer position, it's an internship, or it's a part or full-time job. We want to prepare them for greatness. With us today is one of our 8 certified candidates to date. We don't take the process lightly. They're each groomed, if you will, carefully. And we have Corey Kerr, and I'm not going to introduce him with a bio. He's going to introduce himself. So, Corey, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name's Corey Kerr. I'm a 27-year-old pilot from Canada. I went to Dalhousie University up in Canada and got a Bachelor of Commerce degree. Enjoyed the program, but that wasn't really the passion, the drive that I needed to succeed in a career. And so I started exploring and found aviation and haven't looked back. So I finished my degree and then got my commercial pilot's license, my multi-engine and IFR certificates, and then was lucky enough to get a job with an aerial survey company in Canada. I've been with them for a year and a half now, flying throughout North America, doing a variety of photo missions, and I'm currently employed and actually on the road in a hotel right now on the job. So that's kind of the short recap of who I am.
Perfect, and we'll get to more. How did you come about Pathways? How did you hear about it, and what's your experience been like?
I actually had a mutual friend with Pete who connected me with him and emailed Pete just to get a bit more information. I hadn't heard of the Pathways program, and Pete encouraged me to check out the website, which it seemed like everything aligned perfectly for where I was in my career. Someone that had already started my career but was ready to move on and grow and keep climbing the ladder in aviation. So I joined a call that week, and it was great to see the format, to have it's an open community, a big discussion, and while Pete and Eric guide us through whatever the topic is that week, there's also the open dialogue and the support throughout all the participants. And then shortly after that started my Pathways profile to be a candidate, a certified candidate, which was a really easy process. It was working with Pete, going back and forth, going step by step, doing everything from working on your soft skills to building your resume and fine-tuning it, and was able to get that done in just a few days. It was really easy, and I've been a part of the program since. I'm loving it.
And I apologize for all the red, so on your resume, but it looks good. I'm looking at it now. Okay, cool. Let's get to the good stuff. What are your career aspirations?
Career aspirations, I think at the end of the line, I'd love to fly for a major airline. Um, the multi-engine IFR is the next step for me in the short-term career aspirations. Currently, I'm flying VFR single engine. So while I still learn and I've a lot of knowledge that I'm building every single day, I feel like I've hit a bit of a plateau and I'm ready to get into that steep learning curve of the next step in aviation. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. How would you say your experience has prepared you for that next step?
I think experience doesn't just come from flying every day. It comes from everything. In the terms of university, it was a co-op Bachelor of Commerce program. So I got to work in, we did 3 work terms in diverse business industries. And I think with that, I learned especially the value of the customer to a business, which has helped transfer over into the pilot flying of being a pilot is more than just flying the aircraft. It's making sure that you're providing a good service for the client or flying passengers in a safe and efficient way that will make them want to fly with you again. Then in terms of experience, when I got into the workforce, I think that when it comes down to the technical side, the kind of flying we do is very wide in the terms of variety. We've had projects up in the mountains where we're in rural mountain regions, dealing with weather, dealing with terrain. And we've had projects where we're working in high density class probable airspace, where you're constantly working with air traffic control, trying to coordinate where you are. And besides that, there's also flight planning. So a few days ago, I was in Toronto and I just made it into Seattle the day before yesterday. So while our company is very team oriented and you're working with your chief pilot, you're working with other pilots, accountants, it's also, there's a lot of autonomy. So when the boss says, when you're in Toronto, go to Seattle, that's all on you. A great deal of flight planning, a great deal of looking at the weather, working with the limitations of a single engine aircraft with a 30-knot headwind, which seems to follow me around everywhere for some reason. And working towards building yourself as a pilot. So that experience has been great. In terms of the number side, I've amassed 1,200 total hours. We're flying about 800 hours a year. Got 1,000 hours of pilot and command time, and I'm very lucky right now to be working and actively working. So as the days go on, day by day, I'm continuing to build on that experience and those hours.
Perfect. And you stole my next question, was to tell me more about your hours. But since you beat it, I'm going to ask you a separate question. And what's your why?
Why? I think it comes down to 2 things for me. One is that I love it. I found something, and I think in a career, it's got to be something that you absolutely love, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. This is a job that I love, that I take seriously, that I want to succeed in. And the second part is that that I'm good at it. I think that I've proven through the company that I can be a reliable member of the team, and I continue to push myself to provide value. I know there's nothing else I want to do in life. I want to be in a cockpit until they kick me out. And I think that I am wise enough in what I know now, but eager enough to learn the things that I don't. And I think that moving on to that multi-engine IFR job is something that I'm ready for and something that I'm looking forward to in building myself as a pilot.
Sweet. Okay. And I know we've been working with you for a short while, and you've been part of our regular conversation. So you weren't not expecting that question. So I appreciate that. When it comes to what you bring to the employer, what attributes would you say that you have at your disposal to give to them?
Beyond the hard skills of having the licensing and having the hours, the soft skills, I'm someone that's friendly, laid back, likes to have fun. At the same time, once I get in the cockpit, my focus is purely on the job at hand. I'm professional, really calm under pressure, adaptable to certain situations, and really like to use the team that I have around me. And I think that a combination of those skills can be valuable to a future employer.
Okay, cool. And so what would your coworkers say about you?
I think, again, friendly. Another one is someone they can rely on, and a leader. I've been here now, one of our more senior pilots, so it's someone that they can rely on for advice. When you start this job, you come straight out of flight school, and again, you could have 1,200 hours or 200 hours, and you can get the call to fly 2,500 miles. where in flight school your cross country is 300 miles. So that's a bit nerve-wracking. So I think I'm someone that can be supportive and there for them to guide them. I think I'm someone that is also very professional. The way that we handle our business with the hangars and the FBOs we're staying with, air traffic control coordination, there's a fine mix of being professional and also being friendly. And I think that those are some of the skill sets that my coworkers have described with me.
These are all great attributes, so I appreciate that. And I told you that this interview would probably take about like 15 or so minutes. So my next question would be, what is your time frame? When do you want to take on a new adventure?
I'm ready to go right now. I think that this job that I've been doing is something that it takes a toll on you. We're on the road 365 days a year, so I'm ready to move on to that next step. That being said, I'm very lucky and happy to be working day by day. But the short answer is I'm ready to go right now.
Okay. Perfect. If there are any questions from the audience, throw them in. We've just got a couple minutes remaining. And I see one here that, you talked about how others might look upon you, how your coworkers look at you in a positive way. Can you identify any that might not be as positive?
Right. I think maybe when a plan comes out, I can be quick to jump on it. And so I'm working on that to kind of slow down, look at all the other possibilities, just take a breath. When it comes to the actual flying, I'm calm and I'm very analytical and I don't have a problem in the cockpit. But on the ground, when we have 7 planes that we're trying to coordinate in a 25 by 25 mile area, I think I want to continue to work on taking into account everyone else's opinion and making sure that we take the time to make sure that we make the right game plan for coordination.
No, that's great. And I know those questions are always asked in interviews, tell me your strengths and weaknesses and that sort of thing. But the perspective coming from other people, what they would reflect on, even speaks greater. And I know you're on most of our weekly conversations that take place on Wednesday, and the input you provide is amazing, not just to us who are putting on the calls, but we have middle school students, we have high school students, we have college students, and you're able to kind of connect with them in a way that peer-to-peer connection is, I think, far greater than having old people like Eric and myself share the information. I think they receive it better from you. So that speaks volumes to your character and your ability to relate and connect. And so I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to throw another question at you. You probably just saw it. Provide a little advice for those who maybe start in the Pathways program or in the middle of it. Not every candidate we have has completed the process, and some are stuck in certain spots. So what advice might you have for them?
The first is don't be shy. I mean, Pete and Eric are so friendly and very responsive. I know they were able to answer any of your questions very quickly, and they were really helpful. I was able to get the candidate profile done quickly because A, I focused on it. I wanted to make sure it was done quick, but B, I had the support from Pete and Eric to get it done quick. So don't be shy, message them. And the candidate profile, while you're filling it out, really helps to learn more about yourself, because they're asking questions about yourself. Why do you want to be doing what you're doing? What are your future goals? What are your soft skills? And I think that if you don't know that right now, going through the process will really help that. But number one advice is just get going and get it started and give Pete and Eric a shout and things will move quickly.
I totally agree. So I appreciate that because we're constantly in touch with the students and the candidates, and I enjoy it tremendously. It's easy for us. We love to share advice, and we have, as you see on the weekly calls, a number of mentors who are ready to jump in and just offer a little bit, whether it's related to being young or thinking about their career aspirations to the industry and specific roles within the industry. I think that they all have a hand in it. I'm not a pilot, I'm not an engineer, so I have my angle that I can share with everybody, but the rest of the mentors can provide their various specialties, and that's pretty cool. You may have seen that the question just pop up. My question to you on that is, you want to move on in your career. What might you be leaving behind with your current employer?
Right. I think, and I've tried to take it in, is that this job is something you don't get to do very often. This is a job where you get paid to fly low level through the mountains, and as you start to, or you get to be on the road with a bunch of pilots that are similar age and get to explore all these new places. That part of it will be fun, or that I'll miss a lot. And the single pilot aspect of it's you alone in the plane. And although I'm really looking forward to the multi-crew landscape, I think that having that control and being the sole kind of person in charge of what you're doing is going to be something that I miss, and I know that you don't get as you move along within the airlines, as well as just the people that I've met. My bosses are unbelievable. My coworkers have been great, and you build relationships when you're on the road 365 days a year in hotels and Airbnbs with these people. You build a camaraderie, and it's the pilots that have left us in the past. We still talk every day, and that's something that I'll really miss.
I appreciate that, and what it tells me is that if I was hiring you, I could call your supervisor, your boss right now, and they would give me a favorable reference. So that's also awesome. One of the questions that just came in about your current position is a time maybe where you showed good airmanship. Tell me about that.
I would say, I think there's no real specific time. It happens on a day-to-day basis. The amount of hours that we're really flying, you get put into all sorts of different scenarios. Good airmanship in high density airspace is being courteous, being professional, doing the skills that you have, and making sure that you're doing them properly, and that there's a time to be friendly with the controller. There's a time to get your call sign and you read back off quick, and knowing those scenarios based on where you are. Then it comes down to the mountain flying. The first time I flew through the mountains, again, it was pretty autonomous in what we do. And the boss said, we were in Calgary, it was go over to Vancouver. I'd never flown through the mountains. We did a 3-hour course in flight school that I didn't really remember. So it was one of those things where you got to do a lot of research, really kind of lean on the advice of your coworkers, lean on the advice of your training. But at the end of the day, it was something that you had to go through yourself. And I was really proud to make it through the other side of doing a mountain crossing and learning all that's involved with that. It was the same with my first 10-hour, 12-hour cross-country day, or the same with a big night flight through northern Canada. You get a lot of those scenarios with this job, and I think that those have proven to be invaluable in the experiences that I've built upon.
Perfect. I like that. I know you're in Canada, and even right now, I think you said you're in Seattle. Yep. Do you have a desired location that you want to be working out of or residing?
There's nothing specific. I'm easy. I'm willing to relocate if it's the right job and the dream job, and I'm lucky enough to have a girlfriend that's back home that's willing to follow me everywhere. So I really am a lucky guy. But I am willing to go anywhere to pursue that dream of getting to that next step.
Sweet. Now our role at Pathways, we don't place, we don't recruit, but we connect, and we're always looking to connect our candidates to recruiters, to employers, to other resources. We're always talking to groups like JS Firm, or groups like Raven or FAPA or whomever, so we can introduce you to them, so that they can take you and say, okay, Pathways is a resource, we're a resource, let's get you the job that you want. So on the call, we have a representative from one of those organizations, and he keeps throwing out great questions. And so you're definitely going to connect with them, I would hope. And his last question is a question I ask all the time, and even asked of you in the past, like in the future, like where do you see yourself 5, 10 years out?
5, 10 years out, I think I'd like to be in a position, the end goal is obviously the airlines. Whatever job I can get in between that will build me up to that is where I'd like to be. Not specifically exactly what I want to be flying or what rank I want to be or where I want to be, but I want to be similar to the company I'm at now, somewhere where I'm comfortable, I really enjoy the job, something I'm good at, and something that's stable and gives me the tools and continued experience to build upon my career.
Cool.
but it's more specifically multi-engine IFR for sure. That's
Thank you.
the next step that I'm looking for.
Excellent. Well, I wanted to wrap it up in 15 minutes. We've gone a few minutes long. It's fun doing this. You're our first certified candidate that we're interviewing in a live format. Obviously, it's being recorded as well. And you've allowed me to kind of guide through this on my own to see if this is going to work or not. Not work in the realm of getting you hired, because that's ultimately our goal, but also to see if there's a good format to showcase our other candidates, because we have other certified candidates on this call and others who are clamoring to be in maybe not your current seat, but in the role of the person being interviewed. So I appreciate you let me go through this little process. Do you have any parting comments that you want to share before we end this call?
Just a big thank you. You guys have been unbelievable. It was something that came out of the blue for me, and my whole aviation job search and outlook changed within a week of getting to know you guys. You're doing a great job, and I am really, truly thankful. So,
well, we're thankful for you, because you help us be better at what we do. And to me, it all boils down to passion. You clearly have it. I know we have it. And when passion meets passion, good trouble happens. So thank you for coming to Pathways. Thank you for reaching out and connecting with me and Eric and the others. And we're excited for a couple reasons. We're excited because we want to see you succeed in everything you do. We're also excited because you mentioned that you might want to be a mentor to some of our candidates in the future. So it looks like if things go right for you, they'll go right for our candidates. So I appreciate that offer. So I'm going to end it right here. I appreciate all your time. Love your energy. Enjoy Seattle, however long you're there. And we'll be talking to you super soon, buddy.
great. Thank you, Pete.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.